Cameroon, the Cameroon experience. Well,
Merci en tout.
well, thank you very much indeed, Ms. Bashir Badou, for all these clarifications. And now we go to Théophile Giramoulon, and I'd like to say that you are the president of the Cameroon Federation, and you are the managing director of life insurance in Cameroon. You have the floor. Honorable Minister of Economy, Finance, and Reform of the Administration of the Kingdom of Morocco, Honorable President of the Moroccan Federation of Insurance and Reinsurance Companies, Honorable President of the National Insurance Company and Social Security of Morocco, Honorable Senior Managers of Insurance and Reinsurance Companies, ladies and gentlemen, and brokers, insurance brokers, distinguished guests, and all honors insured. Allow me, first of all, to convey to you the gratitude of the Cameroonese market of insurance for the honor that is made to insurance to Cameroon to be a guest of honor and honor at the honor of the this new edition of the Casablanca Insurance on the theme resilience, inclusion, and resistance and resilience to the pandemic. I'd like to thank you all for this great initiative. Maybe I'd like to walk you through my country and have you have a sense of important data on my country. My country is a Gulf of Guinea country located on the north facade of Africa, 350,000 kilometers of coast along the Atlantic coast, with an overall surface of 442 square kilometers and a population of 27 million people in 2020. Cameroon has a triangle shape, is circumvented by the following countries: Nigeria in the west, Guinea, Equatorial Guinea, and Gabon and Republic of Congo in the south, Central African Republic in the east, and Chad in the north. The country is located between the southern meridional coast and borders of Sahara and Equatorial Guinea in the south. The rest of the country is highly dominated by the high plains and contains the mountains, highest mountains in the center of Africa. Mount Cameroon, that is called the Child of God, is culminating at 910 meters. It is the highest summit of the African continent in terms of height. The east of Cameroon is covered or recovered largely by equatorial forests. Prior to the colonial period, several social organizations would coexist along a kingdom that were structured around nomads. The old kingdom, Bado Bujomo, after this kingdom, they actually succeeded in the 9th century. The German colony that brings the state, or brings to life the state of Cameroon. In the aftermath of the Second World War II, Cameroon is put under the tutorship of the Society of Nations and entrusted to the French administration in its eastern part and to the United Kingdom for its western part. The former UN mandate under the French administration accesses to the independence under the qualification and name of the Republic of Cameroon in 1960. It is joined by Western Cameroon, part of the territory under the British rule, on the 1st of October 1961 in order to form the Federal Republic of Cameroon that on the 20th of May 1972 is renamed United Republic of Cameroon and then later on Republic of Cameroon in 1984. Like most African states, the current borders of Cameroon result from European colonies that have split tribes, and the same tribes like the Fambeti in Cameroon that found themselves today in Cameroon, in Gabon, and in Equatorial Guinea. Cameroon is today a full-fledged member of the International Organization of the Francophonie of the Commonwealth, as well as to the Organization of Islamic Conference. It is surnamed the miniature Africa because of its ecological, climate, mining, geographic, cultural, and human typology and geography. You most know the culture of arts, sports, and food like Borgila, Tomokolo, Samolito, in soccer and football, Sampo Bango in athleticism and running, Yannick Noah in tennis, Shohal Embiid, Rue Richard, Bahamute, and Pascal Siakam at the NBA, Francis Ngannou, since last weekend has become a world champion of high weight category. Richard Banu and late Bagu Minango. The pandemic has called back, and because of the pandemic he has passed away, and we actually pay tribute to his memory. So from the political standpoint, the president of the republic is His Excellency Mr. Paul Biya, and the Prime Minister, head of government, Mr. Chief John Bute. They are actually, we have a bicameral parliament composed by the Senate and the low chamber National Assembly. The official languages are French and English, and we have several national languages spoken by over 200 ethnic groups. The capital is Yaoundé, and Douala is the economic capital. Cameroon has over 400 political parties. The national officer of the Ministry of Communication says that in Cameroon, 350 newspapers and 500 TV channels and radios. From the economic standpoint, the Cameroonese economy is by far the most resilient of Western Africa. Notwithstanding its high vulnerability and very high dependence of the world prices of raw materials. To be added to this, there is the persistence of the crisis, namely the social and economic crisis in the northern regions and southeast regions, as well as the incursions of the Boko Haram terrorist groups in the north of the country. The growth rate is under 1.1% in 2020, a major drop compared to 2019, where it was about 3.7%. We may note that Moroccan companies are strongly involved in the insurance sector, in the banking sector, in the construction and cement industry. And these sectors that have been hard hit by COVID and the financial world crisis, this is how the Cameroon has become a member of the global or African insurance companies, and its global production has gone from 200 billion of French CFAs to 280 billion in French CFAs. The non-life insurance is a very important share of the Cameroonese market, compared to 43% of the life insurance. Members of the Association of ASAP, the 28 insurance companies that we need to add, the 3 representations of reinsurance companies, total 1,400 direct jobs. We have 140 brokers and brokerage companies, as well as 105 general agents. The changes and global changes of the Cameroonese market on insurance inclusion and resilience to pandemic is highly marked by the major challenges of the insurance markets that is actually growing under the prism of digitalization, mobile digitalization, and regulation. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, digitalization of all insurance processes in all organizations has gone from the complementary need to a real urgency, and the insurance sector has not been spared by the digitalization of the world. Mobile payment, automation of claims, identification, and risk assessment. All this digitalization has become business as usual and have become a normal thing. And we need to integrate and fully grasp that digitalization is not a fashion, but it's a matter of survival. It's not a generation problem. One of the major lessons that we have drawn from the organizational adjustments carried out by the Cameroonese insurance companies, namely in the light of sectorial studies recorded on the second quarter of 2020 after the first wave of the pandemic, led to the need to speed up and scale up the sector by pulling together all the efforts that have been done. We're also learning to live with the pandemic and its variants, and make sure we give the best services possible to our clients while promoting the sector. This is how we're going to be overcoming future challenges in case there are future pandemic around the world. On the regulatory standpoint, and despite the occurrence of inclusion insurance, and after the adoption in April 2012 of the new regulation relating to microinsurance operations by the Cabinet and Council of Ministers in charge of the CIMA countries, led to the conclusion that the insurance sector can actually promote economic development of sub-Saharan countries. The penetration rate of the insurance countries in the CIMA countries, the provision of The provisions that have been enacted lately to regulate mobile promotion, and namely micro-insurancing to the public, 8 years later, this enactment, the Council has seen the evolution of this branch, and the results are actually mitigated. Today, we can hope that digital mutations and changes that are forced by the occurrence of COVID-19 will encourage insurance companies to bringing inclusive insurance projects. As a matter of fact, the assessment that was done during the market forums in 2018 has shown that the occurrence and promotion of digital technology and alternative channels brings the hope that the insurance sector will witness better days and a better future as long as the necessary adjustments are done, namely the regulation of electronic insurance in the region. A large project of sanitation and of refurbishment of the automobile insurance sector has been started by Cameroon, namely centralization and digitalization of the underwriting platform of the joint underwriting, change of colors of accreditations, digital control, etc. The setting up of a central registry of aggravated risks that is an additional motive to fight fraud in the insurance sector and scaling up of the modernization process. The system
des assurés, en abrégé IDA, matériel.
The ceiling for now is 100,000 CFAs that has been largely inspired by the Moroccan model. As far as the model and health sector is concerned, another clause on medical insurance has been deployed and is clearly one major step forward towards a health department, a health pole, as this is urged by CIMA to reduce the deficit in this branch. Negotiation of prices and tariffs and harmonized prices with different trade unions of providers and fund providers will allow us to get closer to this final outcome and objective. In addition to this, we try to strongly get involved in some government project of universal health coverage to give a better visibility to the health and medical insurance coverage and scheme and increase the penetration rate of the insurance sector. Also, the market engage in the co-coverage of co-insurance of large national risks. The CAM 2022 is one of the leading experience in this regard. Honorable Minister of Economy and Finance. Of the reform and reforms of the Kingdom of Morocco, Honorable President of the Moroccan Federation of Reassurance Companies, Honorable Secretary, General Secretary of the Authority of Control and Insurance and Social Security of the Kingdom of Morocco. Ladies and gentlemen, in a tireless effort of synthesis, Cameroon is striving to turn its insurance sector into a promising one. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much to the Honorable Chairman Long. Ladies and gentlemen, we are reaching the end of this opening ceremony. I would like to thank all of the personalities that have honored us with their presence for this Casablanca Insurance meeting. And in a way, through this hybrid mode, we are still striving to conduct this meeting in these challenging circumstances to see how in the insurance will need to shift to adapt to these trying times. So at 1400 hours, we'll have a presentation by Don Forgeron, who will be here with us from Canada. He's the president of the Global Federation of Insurance Associations, and we'll have a panel that will discuss the questions relating to the inclusive nature of insurance and how we can innovate to ensure that we can have innovative and inclusive insurance. So all of those, for those of you that are involved in the sector, well, you are all invited to join in on this session, and you're all invited to visit the different booths to discover all of the novelties in your sector. So until then, please stay safe, and I look forward to reconnecting with you later on. Thank you.